Hi, everybody. Um, so, I'm Melanie with Melanie Sibley Counseling. I am going live to help talk about and help people with their mental health during the pandemic and this difficult, stressful time that we're experiencing. I came on live early so that I can give people a few minutes to see that I'm online and to see that I'm live and to hop on in. So, we're going to kind of hang out for a while before I get started. Um, I apologize. Like, I'm old, right? So my eyesight is kind of shit, and I'm gonna cuss. So sorry about that too. But that's who I am. So you're gonna see me do the old lady look to the screen to see who's here, and then look back, and there's nobody. So that's chill. I expected that. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna hang out and wait. And I'll be honest, even if nobody shows up, which I don't think will happen, I think I'll still go ahead and talk about what I'm planning on talking about because hopefully people will find this useful in the future. It feels really awkward to sit in front of a live camera and not talk. That's okay. Yep, I'm going to do what most of us do and go ahead and be on Facebook and just kind of hang out and wait a couple more minutes. Yesterday, I tended to start pretty much right on the dot, and so I think that's what I'll do today, regardless. I wonder if I can start a watch party. I just got my notification that I'm live. I'm gonna see. This is goofy, but I'm gonna go to. Oh, I got a message from somebody. Oh. Okay, so this is weird. I just got my notification that I'm live. I'm gonna see. This is goofy, but I'm gonna go to. Oh, I got a message from somebody. And I sent me a love and a like because why not? All right, hold on. I'm gonna start a watch party if I can. I wonder if I can, and how do I do that? I do have one new message. Nope, I do not. And I can't go live for my own. I can't host my own party. That's too bad. It was a nice idea though. So if you pop on, evidently, if you host a watch party, I didn't know this until yesterday, but if you host a watch party, then your friends can know that you're doing that and they can pop on and see this. So if you have friends or family members or other people who are struggling, then this is the time to share this with them and see if some of the knowledge and the resources I have will be helpful. I'm going to tag a couple people, see if that helps. No, I don't even think I can. Nope, I can't. Okay. I can tag, curiously enough, I can tag pages and probably groups, but I can't tag individual people. So that's cool. All right. Let me double check the time. Yep, it is 12:15, so I'll go ahead and get started. So again, my name is Melanie Sibley. I am a licensed clinical social worker in private practice here in Champaign, Illinois. And one of my specialties is anxiety. I've been working with clients that struggle with anxiety for I don't know how long, the last however many years, for quite some time now. And so I thought because this pandemic is stressful and it's scary and it is unprecedented, right? Like, what the fuck? I have never witnessed anything like this. I don't think any of us have. And we're all just trying to figure out what to do at each day individually. So I wanted to be of service. I wanted to be helpful, be useful for others. And so I decided to go ahead and do these lives. It looks like I have somebody else watching. If you guys want to say hi, if you want to comment and say hi, it'd be wonderful to know who's here watching. It would be also wonderful if you guys would host watch parties to let other people know. If not, whatevs, that's fine too. Okay, so Melanie Sibley, private practice, specialized in anxiety. And I've been thinking about this. I think I'm going to, other than Thursday, because ironically Thursday I'm moving my office from up here to downstairs. But I think I'm going to start hosting live events or going live Monday through Friday. And then I'll give myself the weekends to not think about work, because I want to be of service. And honestly, one of the ways that I deal with everything that's going on, the disruption in schedule, the loss of clients, the loss of work, the fear, the uncertainty, is by staying busy, and especially by helping other people. And so this is my way of hopefully contributing to the community in some small way. So as I see it, the three topics that I think would be useful to cover at this time are anxiety, stress, fear, and that I feel like is at the top of the list right now, because everything is so, we just don't know. Everything is so uncertain, and uncertainty and having everything change every 10 seconds is a huge cause for anxiety, stress, and fear. And a natural response. I want to do that. Like, if you are upset, if you are scared, if you are whatever, please don't feel like there's something wrong with you. I think that is an absolutely understandable reaction to this. I keep talking to people and they're like, well, I'm not panicking. And my response is always, well, okay, I'm glad you're not panicking, but it's okay to be scared and feel uncertain during this time. So I don't want that to go away. Like, I don't want you to try not, I don't want you to feel shame or guilt. Oh, I was going to get my pink elephant, but he's packed. I don't want you to feel shame or guilt for having these responses to this highly unusual, not even national crisis, but worldwide crisis. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be fearful. It's okay to be anxious and stressed. What's important is that we manage our emotions rather than get overwhelmed by them. But it's also okay, and I almost even want to say necessary, to feel them. And so here's what I tell people when they try and, I don't know, deny their uncomfortable emotions. So if you're watching this, and if you're in a safe place and you're comfortable, for just a moment, go ahead and close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, whatever you do, don't picture a pink elephant. There's no pink elephant anywhere in your imagination. And then I say, go ahead and open your eyes. What did you picture? Inevitably, I hear pink elephant, and I usually have a little pink elephant stuffed animal. It used to sit over there, which is why I'm looking that way. And I would be holding that by the time they opened their eyes. But it's packed. My point is that if we're feeling anxious, if we're feeling any of these uncomfortable emotions, if we try not to feel them, if we try to deny them, it just makes it stronger. Every time you try to shove your anxiety or your fear away, then pink elephant, it just arises stronger than ever. So it's okay to have those feelings. It's okay to acknowledge them. It's beautiful if other people can validate them for you. And I'm so sorry if the people around you aren't able to, because I'm seeing a lot of that of, no, don't be scared, there's nothing wrong. I'm sorry if people aren't validating. I would ask you to let them know what you need. Like, it's okay, you don't have to fix this for me, you don't have to make me feel better, but it's nice if you can acknowledge that I'm scared and that there's a reason for it and that my feelings are okay. So that's something that I try and teach clients a lot. And now when we're talking about anxiety, stress, and anger also, really, all three of them all tap into the same system in our bodies. And for any of you guys that are like experts at this, excuse me for, and I mean this, I'm going to explain this like I'm 5, because that's the only way I can conceptualize it. I do not have that sciencey brain. I envy people that do, but I do not. So I have to learn this stuff and then translate it to my 5-year-old sciencey brain so that I can understand it. So that's what I'm going to do. So anxiety, stress, anger all activate, they all start back here in the amygdala. They all activate the fight or flight response, right? And when that happens, a shit ton of things happen in our body. And I can tell you, because this is a stressful, uncertain time, I feel them in my body all the time. So if we think about it, heart rate increases, my blood pressure has definitely been up. Breathing can get fast and shallow, our muscles tense up. Sometimes we get sweaty. Our stomachs can get really icky. And I've noticed, and I have not experienced this in a long time, but there's definitely times where I just can't even stand the thought of eating because it feels so disgusting. What else happens? We get headaches. We sometimes our brain goes faster and faster. Hi, Rena. So all these things happen when our fight or flight response is activated, when our limbic system is activated. Cortisol gets dumped in our body, adrenaline gets dumped in our body, all these things. And the crazy thing is uncomfortable as all of this feels, it is all absolutely natural, because what our body is doing is saying, holy fuck, there's a grizzly bear right in front of me, and I need to figure out what to do about this grizzly bear. I need to fight it, I need to run away, or I need to freeze and pretend I'm invisible. I always think of rabbits when I think of the freeze part. So our body is escalating in response to this perceived danger. And back in the day, like, we would all stay alive. All of us that get anxious and fearful and have these strong reactions, we were the ones that lived, right? Because we would see the grizzly bear or the saber tooth or whatever the hell it is, and our bodies would take over, and we would, boom, be out of there and live to fight another day or flee another day or whatever. In this day and age, these physical reactions are no longer of use. Like, my body getting ready to fight a grizzly bear does not help me fight a virus. It does not help me fight a boss that's angry with me. It does not help me fight or run away from anything. So what we have is we have this entire system going on, the accelerated heart rate, the breathing, the tenseness, the headaches, the rapid, fast thoughts. All of this stuff is going on, and there's nothing to be done with that, right? So again, back in the day, that would happen, and we'd be like, grizzly bear, pow, 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 or run, 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 and we'd be safe, and then our body would be like, oh, phew, we got away, so it's all okay. That doesn't happen anymore. Our body is just like, okay, we're ready. You can tell I don't fight. We're ready. And then nothing happens. So for anxiety, stress, and anger, because I will say for me, part of this powerlessness is that I've been getting really irritable and really angry super easily. And I find myself wanting to pop off at people for no reason. And I think that's part of that stress. That's part of that. In some ways, it makes sense, right? It's nice if you're stressed out or you're scared to get angry, because that anger, again, will help fight the grizzly bear. So all these things are happening. The cortisol is dumped in the body. All our body have these big reactions ready to survive. And then we sit in front of the TV watching Netflix or playing Candy Crush or on the phone or browsing Facebook or whatever. And our body is just like, the fuck, man, when are we going to ever be safe? So the number one thing that I recommend for everybody, for anxiety, for stress, for anger, and honestly for depression, but for different reasons for depression, is cardio exercise. So not necessarily, although I'll say any exercise is good, but exercise where we get our heart rate up to its target zone for, let's say, 20 minutes. I will say in this time where I feel like it's always stressful all the time, you do it as often as you need to. But the reason we do that is, and there's a biological reason for it, the reason we do that is if we can go for a run, go for a bike ride, or if you're like me with bad knees, just go for a really fast walk or walk until we tire ourselves out. See, I just walk really fast away from the grizzly bear. But basically what we're doing is we're telling our body, look at us, we're running away from the grizzly bear, we're escaping. And when our heart rate goes up to that cardio, we're mimicking fighting or fleeing the grizzly bear. And then when we get done with cardio and our heart rate drops back down and all our body drops back down to a regular pace, it's signaling to our body, look, we are safe, we escaped. And then our body can reset and go back to normal. I will say this is an extended time of crisis, fear, stress, anxiety, whatever you want to say. And so you might need to do cardio more often than in normal times. I will tell you, I've not been able to get out for my morning walks because my schedule changed before this. And now that I am doing telehealth, and now that I am home more than I'm not, I'm able to go for multiple walks a day. So anytime I start feeling myself spinning or I feel the physical reactions to what's going on, I read a scary article or something else weird happens, I go for a walk, and I just walk until I'm exhausted. Like my mind will spin and I will get upset. At one point, I started thinking about everybody else, like the poor, everybody, right? The poor people that are not employed, the poor college students, all of this. And so I went for a long walk. I started crying. I cried for about 5 minutes. But again, that was my body just saying, okay, let's process all this icky stuff. And then after that 5 minutes of just feeling the sadness and the grief, I was exhausted. And I just walked my ass home and I was able to take a nap because sleep can be iffy for me. So cardio is the number one thing I will tell you to do. Also, if you think about it, if you're practicing self-isolation, if you're practicing, I hate social distancing, but if you're practicing keeping your distance from people, then you need to get out of the house some way. And so going for long walks, runs, bike rides, that's all a good way to get out of the house and be safe. Go for a car ride, that's also a nice way to go for a walk, be safe. I will also, other suggestions that I'm giving to my clients that I will pass on to you also is, and I said this yesterday too, but I don't know who's watching and I don't know who was here yesterday. So other things to help manage stress and anxiety. I have a list, so excuse me while I reference it. Routines. We all need structure and we all need routines. And for me, one of the hard things, because I'm not seeing my clients face to face, and because my college students, some of them went out of state and I can't work with them, I'm not licensed in their states. So I suddenly have a lot more free time on my hands, and I need structure and I need a routine. So I want to urge you guys to get up as much as you can at the same time every day. I want to urge you to eat your meals on a consistent basis. And you know what? If you are self-isolating, you have time to cook, and that's a beautiful thing for me, at least, to have that luxury. Go ahead and get dressed, take your shower, brush your teeth, get dressed. Women, if it's important to you, if you feel better with makeup on, then even if you're not leaving the house, put your makeup on, because it just makes us feel better. It makes us feel like, okay, our day has started. So I think having that structure, keeping to routines as much as possible, really helps bring some normalcy to a really abnormal, scary time. I want to also really, really encourage people to be super mindful and super careful about the information they're taking in. Like what? I have so much trouble with so many news outlets. It doesn't even matter. And I'm talking nationally, but it doesn't even matter. Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, all of them are fear mongering. All of them are freaking us the fuck out. At least me. I'll speak for me. So I might dip in once in a rare while to get a general overview, but almost always I just see something that is not useful and just is upsetting. So I tried very hard to stay away from the national news outlets. I tried very hard to, and I spend, especially right now, way too much time on Facebook and Reddit. I'll admit it. I'm not proud of it, but it's real. But I have to be very mindful about whose news feeds I'm following, because some people are, again, fear mongering, and they don't mean to. They're buying in and they're freaked out, so they're sharing it. Dina, I'll read that in just a moment. So I have to be super careful about that. I will say, I think locally, and I don't watch TV, I don't watch live TV, so this is all online stuff. But what I've seen, our local news outlets, I think, are doing a really nice job. So I have no problems. I'll check the News Gazette multiple times a day to find out what's happening in town. I said this yesterday, and I will probably say this every day. Champaign-Urbana Public Health District, Julie Pride, what? Thank you. And I mean that from my bottom of my heart, because that's where I get most of my information, and that's what helps me feel a little sane in this crazy time. I will also go to the CDC and WHO, because again, these are people that give me information and give me facts, which I need and which soothes me, without the freak out portion of it. So just be very careful about who you talk to, what news you consume. My friend yesterday, God bless her, she sent me a text. She's like, I got this from, I'm sorry to out you, and I'm not going to say who it is, but she's like, I got this from a reliable source. And it was some end of the world gossip. And it spun me out. But at the same time, I'm like, we don't even know if this is true yet. So all I could do was text her back, please don't share this shit with me, because it upsets me and it doesn't help me in any way. So set boundaries like that with people if you need to. The ones that are spinning high or that are spreading those. Do you remember? Okay, old people. Do you remember the chain emails? And now I guess they're chain texts. Like, send this to 20 people or you will have bad luck. I feel like that's what's happening. And if you have people in your life doing that, then please just ask them not to. Like, if they need to spin themselves out, that's fine. You don't need to buy into it, and you get to set that boundary for yourself. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to see what's been written. I want to say, hi, Amy. Dina said, my brain is benefiting from a spreadsheet checklist of things to make sure I do every day. I love this. So, a spreadsheet checklist of things to make sure I do every day in sequence. Things to sanitize, food, cooking, check the mail, take the medicine, morning and evening. Baby girl, I don't even know you, and I'm dying to meet you someday, but I think that is brilliant. Because really what we have right now is I will speak for myself, but I think a lot of us do. I feel powerless and I feel out of control. So having your spreadsheet, having your checklist, and giving yourself that routine and that structure is a way to institute that feeling of, you know what, I don't have control over the virus. I don't have control over, thank God, I don't have control over the hospitals. I'm so glad. Thank you for everybody doing that stuff. All I have control over is my life. And even in my life, all I have control over is right this moment. So if I can do the things to take care of myself, if I can do the things to take care of my family and my friends and my loved ones, that's enough. Thank you for sharing that, because I really do think that's a beautiful thing to do. Okay, and I think in some ways I kind of started with another thing that I find helpful, and I'm trying to think of how to say this, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and I tend to be pretty blunt, so I'm going to out myself as being in recovery, and that this is something that I learned in the really early days of recovery, and that is when I am in a place of great distress, it can be very useful for me to be of service to others. And I think that goes for all of us in whatever capacity being of service means. So I'm fortunate that being of service means doing these Facebook Lives. You know, and I said yesterday, there are other ways. People need people to run around delivering food to people. That is being of service. Checking on your neighbors, your friends, the people at your church maybe that are isolated. That is being of service. And what that does is, because if I were to sit at home and watch Fox or MSNBC or whatever the fuck is on TV and sit by myself in my head, I don't even want to think about it. I would be so distressed, I can't even comprehend. And that still happens, even when I'm careful about what I'm watching. That's still happening to me. That's when I go for walks. That's why I'm doing these Facebook Lives. That's why I appreciate my opportunities to work with my clients. Because if I'm doing that, then I get to, for a minute, get out of here and look at you guys. And that brings me comfort. It gives me that sense of power again, right? So it gives me that sense of I'm doing something that matters. I can't control if Joe Schmo is spreading the virus. I can't control if the hospitals are being overworked. I can feel bad for them, and I do. But I can't do anything about that. But I can, by God, help myself, check on friends and family, do lives to help all of you. I can do what I can do in my small way. Everybody has something they can do. Sometimes you might have to be creative, but please, please, please find your ways to be of service. Find your ways to pitch in. And I don't know, it feels good. And I talked about this last time. To me, in my world, in my life, the only thing that measures up to, well, there's two, but the only national thing that measures up to this was 9/11. And I remember it's horrific, and I don't have words for what that trauma was like. But the thing that I also hold on to from those memories was the amazing acts of courage and compassion and bravery and love and kindness and tolerance that we gave to each other. And if our country needs something at this moment, it's that. It's loving kindness. It's compassion, it's caring, it's taking care of each other. And if we can pull together and if we can move in that direction, then as horrific as this is, maybe something positive can come out of it. And that's really all we can do. So get outside of your heads, be of service, help others, please. Okay, so I wanted to talk about one other thing briefly, and then I'm going to teach you a practical exercise. And what I wanted to talk about is, And it's interesting because I can feel my heart rate going again. So, and that's fine. So, what I want to talk about is the need for mental health services. I think there is a need for more people than ever to reach out to therapists at this point. I will tell you, anxiety is already the number one mental health issue in our country, and that every single year the numbers and the stats continue to increase. I can't even imagine. So even if you were like, if you're already anxious and it was already messing with your life, you have to, I would think you're all the way up here. If you were borderline anxious and this happened, you were probably up here. If you're just a normal human being and this is affecting you as it is affecting all of us, the anxiety has got to be significant. So here's what I say is, if you find that your anxiety, your stress, your anger, your depression, your whatever it is interfering with your daily life, if you are having trouble functioning and however that looks like, getting out of bed, getting dressed, being kind, being able to get out of your head and get away from the fear thoughts, if you're having trouble, if your anxiety, if any of the mental health issues are interfering with the quality of your life, please, please, please reach out to a therapist. I think at this point, everybody I know is offering telehealth. I'm pretty positive. I don't know anybody that isn't at this time. So there are lots of therapists. We have an amusing community. We have a ton of beautiful therapists. I'll be honest, I run a Facebook group for local mental health clinicians. So I'm linked into a large portion of the therapists in our area. I'm taking clients, but also if I'm not the right fit, or if you know me, if we're friends and you need help, don't come to me because I can't work with you. But if you don't know how to find somebody, I will help link you. I will tell you, Psychology Today is not an outstanding resource, but it is a resource to find therapists. And I feel, and this is very uncomfortable for me, but I have to tell you, U of I currently has a Google document out that is mental health resources. And yet when I look through it, they have 2 counseling agencies that they promote, and they refuse to let anybody else be a part of it. They're like, no, it's only these 2 because, and I don't even know, I mean, I do know the reasons. It didn't make sense. So for whatever reason, that document is not, it's just not valid. Like, I'm like, hey, I specialize in anxiety. I know a ton of other people. Could you please add us as resources? I was basically told, fuck you, no, and given some bullshit reason. So excuse me for the profanity. I cuss though. So I will tell you that I think that document is a load of shit, and that you can reach out to me. You can reach out to anybody on Psychology Today, but there are more than 2 counseling agencies in this town that provide services. So please look for us. Ask me. It doesn't have to be me. I am happy. I know who has openings. I know who everybody specializes in. I am happy to refer out to everybody that needs it. If you need therapy, please don't hesitate to get it. If money is an issue, you know what? I'm going to do this. If money is an issue, I'm going to put a post out in our Facebook group, our local Facebook group, and see who will do sliding scales. I've been tossing back and forth if I will take sliding scale for a brief amount of time. I'm pretty sure I will. I mean, I have to limit how many people I can take sliding scales, but I'm pretty sure I will take at least a couple at a reduced fee, because this is a time of crisis and I need to feed myself and I need to pay my bills, but I also need to be a service. So I'll find out what other therapists will do sliding scale. I will tell you, student insurance is amazing. So it doesn't matter what therapist you see, student insurance will cover it. There's a $250 deductible for undergrads, $150 deductible for grad students, and then a 20% copay, but they will reimburse for whoever you see. We don't know yet, as far as some health insurance companies, whether or not telehealth is being reimbursed. I'll speak for myself. I don't know if the insurance companies I work for are going to reimburse telehealth. And again, I know I'm kind of maybe stepping on my own toes. I don't really give a fuck. If I'm already working with my clients, I'm not going to do in person because I don't think it's responsible, and I'm not going to stop working with them. So if I eat those costs, then I eat those costs, and I will just pray that karma takes care of me and I'll have money come in somewhere else. And in my experience, that's what happens. So if you need therapists, you can get therapists. Hit me up, check Psychology Today. I'll say Open Path has a list of therapists that do sliding scale. It's minimal, but also it can be, especially since we're all doing telehealth right now and we can't see each other in person, it can be anybody in the state. We can only practice in the states we're licensed in. So I can only work with people that are living in Illinois, which was heartbreaking because I had half a dozen students have to go home to other states and I can't work with them at this point. And that broke my heart, and I think it broke their heart. But I want you to have that information. Therapists in our state, some will do sliding scale. Student insurance is definitely covered with telehealth. I don't know about other insurances. Open Path, Rosencrantz in our community for sliding scale Medicaid. Who else? Gibson City Hospital has Medicaid, so they're another one, and they're like in Paxton, maybe Rantoul. They're around this area. Cunningham has an outpatient facility that takes Medicaid. I think that's it. If I'm forgetting anybody else, if anybody wants to pop in and add a comment, I would appreciate it. There's lots of help available. And I will tell you, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for other therapists also. I want to help you as much as you need help. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so I think at this point, and we did this last time, I'm going to teach you an EMDR technique called the container. So first, and you can see it's kind of cute that I automatically, as much as you're able to, go ahead and sit up straight. Feet firmly planted on the ground to help ground you and feel connected to the world. EMDR, large basis of EMDR is bilateral stimulation, BLS. And BLS, what that means is in real world, and you can see over there, that's my EMDR light bar. I love EMDR. So in real world, EMDR is usually either following like this with your fingers, with your hands. I have tappers that vibrate, but it's that back and forth motion. I think maybe I could pull it off like doing this for you guys. I'm not going to. I'm going to teach you another skill that is researched, and there's research that shows that this is effective. And I like doing this for the positive things. I don't like doing it for reprocessing memories. For installing positive, I love it. So it's called the butterfly hug. You can see I got my hair on my way. So the butterfly hug, you interlock your thumbs like this, place them on your chest. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to do that. I love this. I'll be honest, I hate going live. It makes me super scared. And so I did this for a few minutes just before I started my live to help settle myself. Okay, so hands on your fingers and thumbs interlocked, hands on your chest. And when we do positive, calming, we go nice and slow. So work with me. And I don't know about for you guys, maybe it's because I do this so much during sessions, but even just starting this brings me down a couple notches. It's fucking ridiculous. It's so insane how well it works for me and for most of my clients. Okay, so now I want you to imagine a container. It can be anything in the world that you want, with a couple caveats. First, the container should not be anything that you see on a daily basis. Second, it should not be clear or transparent. And finally, it needs to be strong. So take a moment and visualize whatever container you want. I've had lunch boxes, I've had small safes, big safes, rando boxes. I have a ceramic pineapple that used to be in my office. People have used that. I have some weird glowy white outer space looking cube that I think Apple should invent for me. Do you hear that, Apple? So anything you want. Just take a few moments and visualize it. Now, is your container, how big is your container? I see you, Dina. I'll get you when we're done. What color is your container? Is your container light? Is it heavy? Hot? Warm? Ooh, ice cold. I think mine is ice cold. I don't know why, but it is because it's white. Is it rough? Is it smooth? Is it soft? Could be flexible as long as it's unbreakable or hard. Notice every detail you can about your container. How do you open it? How do you close it? Now that you have it, go ahead and open it up. And I want you to take all the what if fears, all the things that we're powerless over, all the ick, all the new media bullshit, sensationalism, all the useless gossip and fear mongering, all the fear of the future, and go ahead and visualize some way to represent each of these fears. Could be post-it notes, could be entire books, it could be pebbles. I think mine are envelopes. I like putting my little fears in envelopes, my big fears in envelopes. And then place them in the container however you want. And I'll share mine, and you can laugh at me, and I'm chill with that. I have, you know, those little ballerinas from the music boxes? She comes out of my little white box. She spins out in her little twirl, and I hand her my envelope, and it shrinks down to her size, and she twirls away back into the box, and she files it away for me. Other people just drop them in, other people cram them in, whatever works for you. But take some visual representation, because you don't want to think about the ick in detail, and place each thing in your box, in your container. Take just a few seconds to go ahead and do that now. Now go ahead and close your box, your container. Lock your container in whatever way you want. A lot of people have like locks on it or combination locks. I think I just need to run my finger across mine because it's kind of small and it just seals up and stays locked. That's mine. We get to be as unique and individual, weird or ordinary as we want. It does not matter as long as your container is effective. Now for my clients, I encourage them or invite them to float their container into my office here. This is the room I meet clients in, and I ask them to go ahead and float it into my office. I have an imaginary shelf in my office that holds all my containers of all my clients containers. Since you guys have never been here, that's almost impossible to do. So I will say, if you want, you can drop your containers. You see my Buddha? Just drop them off at the bottom of his feet, or in the floor underneath him, or in that drawer that's behind him. Buddha can handle it. So go ahead and just get rid of all your containers and leave them here with me and with Buddha. Okay, so that's the container exercise. I love it personally, and most of my clients do. It just brings me down. So, and I'll be honest, I'm not good at creating a quiet space to do this for myself on a consistent basis. I seem to either be go, 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 or escape into my phone. And I guess in some ways this live is useful for me because it's the one time I know I'm going to practice container. So understand that I'm suggesting this, and this is not something that I'm doing myself. So, but it would not be a bad thing to practice container whenever. If we do 0 is no distress, 10 is as high as it goes distress wise, you pick the number. For me, I would need to be at like a 7, and that would be the ideal time for me to practice container. And again, understand that I do not practice what I preach. Maybe if I tell you guys to do this enough, I'll do it myself. We'll see. Practice the container as needed. I also, and this I will start doing for sure, want to recommend that you go ahead and you try and practice container at night before you go to sleep. I know I'm not doing the best at sleeping, and so I probably need to container, and then I'll teach you guys the calm place at some point, and meditate, and I think that would help me sleep. But again, I'm human and I don't practice everything that I preach. I do my best, but I fall short. So I'm going to see really fast. Hi, Chris. I hope you're doing well. I will, I don't know, email you soon to see how you're doing. Dina, apologies. Oh, she had to go. That's fine. Okay. Okay, so I don't know. I don't think we have a ton of people watching, and I'm fine with that. But I think we're out of time. Tomorrow, as far as I know, same idea. So 12:15, unless somebody wants to 12:15, unless I get a request for a different time. So for a large degree, I'm flexible time wise. I will not go past 6 o'clock at night because I need this time to not be in therapist mode. But really, between 9 and 6, I'm good with seeing clients whenever they need me. I'm good with doing this whenever it's most useful. So if you have a request for a time that is more convenient, please let me know. If you have questions that you want addressed, if you have topics that you want addressed, if you have issues that you're struggling with, by all means, you can hit me up either with Messenger. I think my phone number and my email address are both on the Facebook page. You can contact me either of those ways. You can drop whatever you want to say in the comments, and I will do my best to tend to you guys. Please, 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 this will be saved to the Facebook page. If you know people that are struggling, and they don't have to be in Champaign-Urbana, like our community are the ones that I'm going to tend to personally, but next to technology, right? Anybody can see this. So if you know friends, family, loved ones, neighbors, whoever, crazy woman, whoever, please share this with them and let them know that this will be Monday through Friday for the foreseeable future. This will be a consistent thing other than this Thursday because I have to finish packing. And then Friday you will see me with the new background because I'll be downstairs in my new office. All right, stay safe, take care of each other, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace.